Okay. Hello, I'm Mario Toneguzzi, and this is Political Spotlight. Joining me today is Duane Bratt, a political science professor with the Mount Royal University in Calgary. Thanks, Duane, for joining us today.
Hey, you're welcome, Mario.
Lots to talk about when it comes to politics in this city, in this province, and nationally. Let's start with the city. The new mayor, Jyoti Gondek, got herself in a little bit of hot water and controversy lately with the botched arena deal, event center deal in Calgary. And I use the word botched because somebody has botched this, whether it's her and the city or whether it's the Flames. But what do you think the political fallout is of all this, of having this arena deal squashed?
So there's a lot of finger pointing going on at where the blame should be for this. And this has been a long story. You could go back 10 years and we were discussing a new arena. It was an election issue in 2017 between Bill Smith and Naheed Nenshi and Ken King and the Flames. And then a deal was struck in 2019. Largely brokered by Jeff Davison, who used to work for Murray Edwards, who is the majority owner of the Flames. And then things quieted down and work was being done on this. And then over the summer, there was a realization that costs were escalating, not unusual for a large infrastructure project. And a new deal was struck in the summer, a deal, by the way, that Jyoti Gondek voted against when she was on city council. So she voted in favor of the original deal in 2019, voted against the revisions in the summer. And then out of nowhere, in late December, she announces that the deal was off. And she gave a press conference that she just got off the phone with Murray Edwards. And there was an issue around sidewalks and climate mitigation. And this was increasing the cost of the building. The city was going to cover some of that, but they wanted the Flames to cover $10 million. And the Flames walked away. I don't think it was about $10 million. For a $600 million project, $10 million isn't a whole lot of money. It's the price of Johnny Goodrow's salary for a season. But I think what they were concerned about was that the conditions kept changing. And so the Flames walked away. And right now, there's a lot of political controversy over this. If you didn't like the mayor, you didn't vote for the mayor, you're very critical and you're putting all the blame on the mayor. If, on the other hand, you don't believe that any public money should have gone into a new arena that would be managed and controlled by the Calgary Flames, then you're happy that the deal was scuttled. I think at the end of the day, there's too much sense for these groups not to get together. I think the Flames obviously want a new arena, and I think the city wants that as well. But just as we saw in Edmonton, there was a lot of drama before the final building was struck. Right now, though, we're seeing members of council upset with how Gondek handled this, saying she should have called a full council meeting to discuss after she got off the phone with Murray Edwards. You've got Jeff Davison, who negotiated the deal, has also come out quite critical to Gondek. But bear in mind, he was also a mayor candidate who lost to Jyoti Gondek. The premier has intervened and blamed Jyoti Gondek. So there's a number of different elements. There's the partisan, political, ideological elements that if you like Gondek, you're happy with what she's doing. If you never wanted her to be mayor, you're very critical of that. But then there's the whole issue of public money going into an arena that would be managed and controlled by billionaires like Murray Edwards. And so you've got these fiscal conservatives that are opposed to all sorts of money going into public projects, but are perfectly happy with this. You've got Brett Wilson, for example, saying, the Flames are giving them a gift by, donating money like it was a charitable contribution. And of course, Wilson is also an NHL owner in Nashville.
Yeah.
And Jason Kenney, who has repeatedly said, money shouldn't be going to businesses, now seems to imply that the city of Calgary should have been giving money to the Flames, even though the provincial government would not.
Okay. So
I don't think we have not heard the end of this story.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. So, Duane, when you mentioned the premier, and obviously he's got his own issues to deal with these days. How do you think he's been handling the COVID response?
So, a lot of the messaging, I think, is correct. He emphasizes that the boosters, emphasizes vaccinations, says that the hospitalizations remain part of the unvaccinated. But there was a lot of his credibility has gone. And as a result, even if he says the right thing, are people hearing that? And procedures were put in place just before Christmas where he talked about, reduce your social gatherings. Then his own party had a Christmas party that night.
Yeah.
So there's conflicting messages that he's giving. Quebec and Ontario have gone much further in the restrictions that they put forward. He's given a series of press conferences where there has been no new measures. They delayed the schools, but the schools are going to be in person on Monday.
Yeah.
There were restrictions put on restaurants and on arenas. We saw the cancellation of the World Junior Hockey Championship. So he is struggling with Omicron just as everybody else is. But because of what happened with the fourth wave and the open for summer, he lacks credibility in talking to the people of Alberta.
And his battle to remain in power and in leadership with that party, do you think it's eroding by the day? And it doesn't come as, the review doesn't come at an opportune time for him, considering, what's happening now and the fact that if cases continue to rise and skyrocket in the province, he's got a lot of explaining and answering to do.
Oh, absolutely. And, he's banking on an economic recovery.
Yeah.
But the restrictions that have been just put in place are going to hinder that economic recovery. It can't all be on the price of oil. And so if there is a surge in hospitalizations, if there is a surge in ICUs, death counts were up again today. How does he walk in? It's amazing he's lasted this long, especially after the fourth wave and the open for summer comments. And he's got a leadership review in April. I think he had stage managed that pretty good. But if Omicron is as bad as the fourth wave, he's in a lot of trouble. And especially you've got the whole dynamic of Brian Jean.
Yeah.
Who that by-election will be held before the leadership review. Brian Jean isn't actually spending a whole lot of time campaigning in Fort McMurray. I think he feels he's got it sewn up. He is spending his time campaigning across the rest of the province to try to get Jason Kenney to step down. Yeah. But the issues within the UCP are the same issues that were there a year ago. There is a contingent that believes the restrictions have gone too far. And then there's another contingent that believes that the restrictions haven't gone far enough. Yeah. And Kenney has got that balancing act.
So let me, you talk about stepping down, and there has been some speculation of late about our prime minister. What are your thoughts about 2022? Will we continue to see Justin Trudeau past this year as prime minister, or do you think he might step aside and open the door for his finance minister, Chrystia Freeland?
He's been in office for 6 years now. He's won 3 elections, but the last 2 were quite bruising. And you watch him, and there doesn't appear to be a lot of passion for the job. Yeah. And being prime minister is a tough job. Doing it with COVID is even tougher. And we'll have to see just how long he does. The fact that there is so much speculation after he just won an election only a couple months ago shows some of the damage that they're in there. I don't think Chrystia Freeland is in any hurry to try to push him out. But it's clear that she's the one person that he trusts the most. The question is, are there going to be other people outside of cabinet, outside of the government, like a Mark Carney, who are going to want that? But the speculation is not going to end. Every day there's going to be more about, the future of Jason Kenney, or the future of Justin Trudeau, sorry, as well as Aaron O'Toole. I mean, are we going to see these same two leaders in the next election campaign? It would be fascinating to see the person who won the election and the person who lost the election both not being there the next kick of the can.
So you mentioned Aaron O'Toole, and I've been following a lot of stuff on social media, and the prevailing thoughts out there by a lot of people is, where is he these days? We've got
he is spending more time talking about the CBC than anything else. And if you were to follow media comments, you would think Pierre Poilievre was running the Conservative Party. He has got a much higher profile. There was a lot of, and whether you like Poilievre or whether you don't, he clearly gets under the skin of the Liberals. And that's what you want a critic to be able to do, is to pound on them like that. Poilievre didn't run in the last leadership race. Is he orchestrating another run? I mean, Aaron O'Toole demoted him from finance critic before the election. And then once the election was over, I think put him back into that same role. Yeah. And so I think O'Toole is feeling the heat as well.
Always interesting talking politics. Thanks, Duane, for joining us today.
Okay, you're welcome, Mario.
All right, that was Duane Bratt, who is a political science professor at the Mount Royal University in Calgary. I'm Mario Toneguzzi. This has been Political Spotlight. Thanks for joining us today.